Oh, does the intro play or?
Oh, you want me to play it?
No. You could just add it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sweet. Well, welcome to the podcast, guys. This is we did do a dab before the show started, and listen, this is how it is all the time. Welcome to Peaked. My name's Frank. This is JP Noda.
What's up, guys?
Today's guest. Very excited. I really hope I don't butcher your last name.
It's all good.
But so do you Chauncey, or do you like going by Squints?
Chauncey, I go by, but
Okay.
yeah, but everybody calls me
Squints,
Squints. I
right.
think they refer to me as Squints like when I'm not around. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
okay, cool,
Type
cool,
of deal, like
Yeah,
where
yeah.
it kind of just took on a name like that. It's
I
more
mean, I
like
get
a
it.
moniker, but nobody's like, yo, like somebody
yeah.
might call me across the street, like, yo, Squints.
Yeah, but people refer to you as Chauncey.
Yeah,
Okay,
for
perfect,
sure.
sweet. And then how do you say your last name?
Leopardi.
Leopardi.
You gotta have the music in it, you know?
Yeah,
that's it.
it's so much fun. See, we've had a string of really good last names. Roger was here, Volodarsky, right? Volo. I just feel so lame with just Castillo.
That's two, Frank. That's
What?
not a string. That's maybe the beginning.
Okay, well, no. Well, fun. Okay, well, now I have to book a third person to really sell this fucking bit. Well, it's good to have you. I'm very excited. You're also such a big. I mean, you were talking about your brand a little bit earlier before the podcast, but you're also a huge stoner. And also, I've never seen JP be so excited to talk to someone else about weed.
That's awesome.
Because when he the podcast is fun, we have comics, we shoot the shit, but to have JP to see him be excited and talk about it, I'm like, oh, this is great.
I love weed, dog.
Yeah, you do, man.
It's like it shifts into a different
And
person.
when you're a real weed guy, it takes like another one to for you to be like, oh, okay, cool. Like there's no like explaining anything.
No,
we all
yeah.
get everything that's going on.
It definitely
It's
feels
dope,
like
bro.
it feels like when I bring another comic on the show, and then we're just like fucking going crazy, and then I'm like, oh yeah, hey JP. So today's your episode, JP. You can
shit.
go
Thanks,
ahead and
dog.
no.
Welcome to Peaked.
So great. Yeah, I was at the Comedy Store last night. I was telling you a little bit. I got super shit faced, so I'm very hungover. Feels great to be here smoking weed. It really helps me with the hangover. But last night wasn't anything special. It was just, I don't know. You ever worked at a place where
It's Tuesday. I
yeah,
get it.
and all the bartenders and just they
Comedy store, bro.
They just
There's no explanation necessary for
yeah,
that.
man. It was 4:00 in the morning when I got home, and I murdered a burrito, and I've been hurting this whole morning, but very excited to be here.
It's kind of like when they tell like the tales of like when the comic gets he gets famous, he has the hit show and everything, and they're like, what happened? And we're like, fucking comedy happened. Like,
Yeah.
go to the club and go find out what happened.
What happened? Well, the bartender knows him and just gave him free beers the whole night, and then someone told him he can pick songs on Spotify. And got crazy,
Beginning of the end.
bro. There's nothing funnier than watching Matt Lockwood fucking dance to Linkin Park in the back bar at 2 in the
Dude,
morning.
the best is watching the singing Limp Bizkit at the fucking holiday
Oh
party.
yeah. That was ridiculous. Yeah, I've been meaning. Yeah, I know you've wanted to come out. We definitely have to get you out there. Have you ever been?
I've been there before.
Yeah, I feel like
But
everyone-
not like with I think when Drew was doing like Who's Line and that type of shit, I think I did a couple of those, which was fun. What was his thing though? They had like a crew together.
Oh,
It
yeah.
wasn't the show Who's Line, but it was the same group that he was doing the improv with. That was fun.
Yeah. Oh, I can't remember.
And then I've been a few other times, different shows, but never like, yo, come with the homie and have a good time. Like I'd like to have that. I had like the dinner date experience, not the like let's have fun at the comedy club experience. You know?
Yeah, no, we've been breaking people in pretty nice. It's been
It's
fun.
my favorite. Well, because everyone too like is just like down to smoke too, and so like it's fun to watch everyone like try a bunch of different strains and fucking get to geek out a little bit.
Yeah.
And just get uncomfortably high. That's also my
You
favorite
had
part.
it was so funny. You had a little scare the last time we were at the store because you invited. Oh, we were at the Transway Challenge, which was
Yeah,
great, and
I was over there.
you were there, and then Jimmy was there. We all got super baked, and then we all went to the store afterwards. And you invited some friends, and they invited some friends, and I remember you were like nervous.
I just felt bad because I was just like I invited a friend, and like that was the one thing too. Like when I moved to LA, that people told me they're like, "Yo, if someone invites you to something, like they're inviting you to something."
Yeah, just
Like
let 'em know.
you really gotta like make sure it's okay, or like check some shit because like it's not that way down here.
Yeah. So
And
we-
so I just felt like I was like, it's not my place to just invite people, and so I felt like awkward in the situation a little bit.
But we were in the back having fun, and the people they invited were cool people. Like we just got stoned, and it was so funny because at the end of the night, you were just like, "Is everything all right, man?" Oh, well, no. I remember. So they have a sign at the back of the store. It's like, so you can only go back there if you're paid regular or a employees, because it's very like, you know, VIP kind of
part
deal.
of it, yeah, I get it.
And so I posted a poster that they had posted because there's a lot of like open micers that come and just kind of like ruin the vibe. And he hit me up. He was like, "Is this about my friends?" I was like, "No." I was like, "Your friends were hot and they were stoners and they were great." You know what I mean? Like if they were unfunny, it'd be a whole different problem.
Just get nervous.
Yeah, no, but no, it was a great time. Yeah. That Transway challenge was awesome.
Yeah, that was fire.
Good show. Yeah, it was really cool.
It's crazy how fast it's grown too. Like it's literally,
Yeah.
I think it's fourth one, and like they used to be like it's small venues, like couple of rooms, maybe the size of this one. Like you know what I mean, maybe 4 times the size of this room. And
Yeah,
then
I
they
mean-
just blown the fuck up.
You know, Jimmy and Neil are good people, and they speak for the culture, so it's good to see, and it's cool to see everybody come out and support that and have like a real, you know, I think that's a real competition too, like where you feel comfortable knowing that motherfuckers that smoke weed really judged this shit and then gave you a decision on it. It's
Frank
like,
got the judge.
yeah,
It was wild. I felt so out of place because I went and I sat down and then I broke out my own hash and a guy walked up to me and he goes, "What are you doing?" And I was like, and he like handed me the Transway like fleet of rosin. He was like, you have to smoke all of this." I was like,
don't pregame it, bro.
I was like, "Oh yeah, you're right. I'm so sorry." And then I just felt, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is such a," I was like, it's such a fun place being a weed fan, but also being like, you know, it's not like, I don't know, not that it's not my scene, but it's like, you know, you guys are all, you know, I feel like you guys are more well versed in weed than I am. You know, like I feel like I learned all my stuff from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, bro.
You smoked the thing that won the cam?
The
No, who was it?
Fidel's one.
Fidel won.
Yeah, the Cushman.
And then
one.
Joe from LA Family Farms
Yeah, LA
won
Family
rosin.
Yeah, number 6, the one you really
Yeah,
liked.
yeah, that was
What is it?
Yeah.
It's KMZ or KZM was Fidel's.
It's
entry.
KMZ.
KMZ.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Some stellar flower.
Yeah.
And that's one thing too, especially like when you're judging a lot of those challenges, like that's like the farmer's cut. That's the stuff that they're like taking that's like the top of the top that they
course.
never release to anybody because
Yeah.
it's what they smoke on, but they want you to judge it. So they're going to bring you the best they have.
Yeah.
And so that's the chance to like smoke nothing but tops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's fire.
From
The best in
hitters,
LA,
bro,
best
the
in Cali.
And
The
you,
best in the world, realistically, you know?
Fuck
you
yeah.
were talking about getting a lot more hash recently, but you don't smoke hash heavy. You're more definitely just weed.
Yeah, mostly flower.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I smoke like,
The hash holes.
yeah, I smoke hash holes and then whatever. And I'm always just smoking like all of our new testers. And like I have so much of our own flower that even when people give me flower, I'll taste it just to see what the profile is on it. And then like it probably gets handed down the line, but that's just what it is, you know?
Yeah.
I hand out flower everywhere I go to, so the other side can expect the same thing. We all got our own weed, but
Yeah.
it's the gesture that counts, you know?
And trust me, when there's nothing better than someone like giving you something to try that they've worked so hard on. You're like, "Oh, this is what it's about." You know what I mean? We're having fun. We're trying stuff.
Like true excitement behind it too. And
Yeah.
that's my favorite part too. Like even like talking to other weed people is just like the genuine excitement for like things you love,
Yeah.
which is like hard to find.
Yeah.
Which is weird because weed's so big, but like it's kind of weird to find that. It's hard to find that pocket.
What do you think? What's one of your probably, I think, strains that you wish that was coming back? You talked about it a little bit before.
We were just talking about it because JP gave me these platinum cookies times what was it, 33?
33,
Yeah. And platinum cookies, I had the cut from PCG from Purple City Genetics, and I think it was like a platinum Girl Scout cut, and it was incredible, bro. I love that real cookie terp profile. That's kind of lacking from the market right now. When I first hit that, because we're from LA and OG has always been queen, you know what I mean, so to speak. It was interesting when cookies was the one that kind of flipped the switch and started to have flavors come into like the 215 and the shop scene down here. You know, you didn't have too many flavors on the shelf. Maybe a purple or something like that, like a real GDP or an Urkel or something. But the cookies is what kind of made that transition. And now, even though we have like exotic flour in the market, you don't have no cookies though.
No.
You know
It's
what I
like
mean?
bred into it 3 stages earlier for like vigor
Exactly.
at some point,
Like
and then just fucking bred out.
you can't go into a cookie store and get real cookies.
No.
Because it's just not like You know,
Not
I
really.
love that. I miss that profile too. You know.
I remember there was a solid point in my career where people would pay me in weed, and it was just like, please, just if you're gonna give me any weed, just the cookies flavor, because that was like my favorite, that Girl Scout cookies. And yeah, you're right, they're just not here anymore.
Yeah.
But that original smell when you got like a good bag of it, you're just like, oh my god.
For me too, it's one of my favorite highs that I can like still like go back and think about, just because it was always like super social without being any anxious. And like I think it's
Yeah.
the Durban that's in there that makes it super social, but then it's just curved by everything else and just makes it like chill for hanging with the homies without making you pass out, but also getting you dummy stoned.
So like, I guess, would it be, I'm about to say something very stupid. Would that be considered a legacy strain? Like those one, or like those Girl Scout, like those
That is
like,
definitely a legacy strain.
So
It's a precursor to like half of the genetics right now that exists. So that's what you really look
Yeah.
for. Is like, did this legacy strain become the lineage of the whole plant at this point? You know what I mean? Everything's been backed into it somehow.
and how often do those legacy strains just disappear because everyone's growing like,
Well, times too, also because like so now like people have gotten weed to the point where it's growing, it's yielding more, it's higher testing, all this stuff, and those legacy strains didn't necessarily do that. They had like maybe some of the genetics you're looking for, so that they got bred into other things that made them stronger, made them produce more, made people want them. They were made more attractive looking in the bag, and so they're kind of just gone. Like for example, like GDP, like a lot of times people, if they run it today, like it's testing like 18% THC,
That's it.
which is like still a sleeper, still put you on your ass, but people don't want that on the market. People are looking for higher testing, all the flavor, and GDP's half of that.
It's like
seen a lot of
diet
that.
weed,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Those are my favorites. So the Afghans, the GDPs, those things I've always loved. That are just like gone, and that's why like when Mac came back, I was super stoked because it had that nuttiness that a lot of those Afghan Kushes had. That like you don't find in weed anymore. So I knew the high was gonna be something I really enjoyed. So fuck with that
I
for
like that. Real indica plants.
sure. Yeah,
Short,
it's been forever.
stocky.
Yeah, little
Take
fatties.
forever to veg.
Yeah.
That's the problem right there. Nobody wants to grow them anymore because they take forever to veg.
Yeah,
They don't
so-
stretch. Honestly, like, this is cool. This is a cool thing too. So in big facilities, we chase things that stretched and got big fast kind of deal, you know? But now that we're going vertical, you'll start to see like a lot of these short plants, and like veg time won't matter as much because you can put them in there, and you're gonna like see a lot of that like short stubby plant, like a Bubba type structure, come back into the game, which is great because a lot of those are more of my favorite terp profiles
Like
actually.
like the more of like the savory OG, like less gas,
Yeah.
more like funk almost.
I like that purple, like LA Con, Bubba, the Masters, like that deep dark purple. You know what I'm saying?
That's the
Please.
first round. Damn. Yeah, that deep purple. It's very cool to see where weed's gotten now, because it's insane to think like my cousin was the first guy to be giving me dabs, and he was like it was on like a titanium nail or like the old like bubble cap. And I remember when he was doing fucking using the the hot knives, like
Oh,
Oh
bro.
yeah. Putting them on the stove, heat them up
yeah.
and shit. It's so sketchy.
That's how that was the original dad, bro.
That's so
Yeah.
crazy, dude. I'm late
There's the
into the
cup.
market. Like I didn't start smoking until I got my medical rec. Like when I just got out, like my first year of college, I came home and got my rec. And then since then it's been off the fucking races.
Yeah.
But like it's like that was like the first effort I was fucking saying, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I remember the first time my dad saw me do like a dab out of a like rig with like a torch and everything, and my dad just stared at me, and then I was just like, oh, okay. I was like, maybe I'll switch to electric.
No, I was gonna say I was in my very first dab was at a dispensary.
Oh, yeah.
It was fucking literally like walking up from those bars, and dude, it was
that's
I had to do that and then get back in the car and drive back to San Mateo.
It was pretty crazy.
city.
They want to open that. You were talking. Yeah.
that was really good.
Oh yeah, let's get into it.
That's gonna be the Willy Diesel from Punch, grown by the homies over at Valley Grove. It's a sour diesel in Wilson. So
great,
the
bro.
first taste you get off that is gonna be all sour D, kind of like the gassy oiliness from that. But then that Wilson is on the exhale. It's gonna have a little bit of that banana OG and papaya in there as well. Tasted a lot like in the e-nails and stuff like that. If you dab it, straight diesel. It's very like if you put it on a nail like a little higher temp, a lot of that Wilson is gone. But the effect is very sour diesel, very uplifting, kind of euphoric.
That had a great taste on it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That banana, there, the Wilson cut that the Valley Grove has, that banana is so prevalent in there. It's banana OG crossed with papaya, then crossed with Trop cookies.
Yeah.
They're raging them.
I'm gonna cut this.
No, leave it all
So
in.
I still remember wanting to pass out from the first time that happened to me. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing as lung expanding as like that first dab, you know? Yeah, as you were talking about, your first was at a Prop 215 dispensary.
Yeah, it was a club in the city. I fucking
Yeah.
forgot which one it was. But they're on the way out, they're like, hey, it's free dabs today if you want. They were doing a PAD, and I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll take a dab. And it was off an e-nail, thankfully. But even then, I still remember I stood up and was like,
Floated home.
oh, dude, I gotta sit down. Like, I mean, like, thankfully I was okay and didn't pass out. But it was one of the weirdest experiences I ever had, like, in public. For sure. Like, and the immediate sweats and, like, anxiety that comes from it is different world.
You mean like I'm feeling now?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I remember when dab bars started coming out, they started doing dab bar shows. Like comedy shows at dab bars. So you would go and the whole audience would just be fucking ripped to the gills. And then there were some comics who like never smoked weed before and they'd get offered dabs. They'd rip it and then they'd go and they'd like stay in the couch for 3 hours.
They're done.
I remember I saw someone pass out. Oh, it was rough.
That was the first thing too when like everything the like club started doing it, like all the videos that would go around of like a big dude just ripping a dab in a club and just like going through the table and shit like that. It always scared the fuck out of me. And then I fucking learned how to dab. I was like, all right, no, this is kind of nice.
I remember the first time I did Slurper. It happened to me. I fucking almost passed out.
Well, also too, the homie you took it from gives people like half-gram dabs.
Yeah.
For
Do
fun.
you know who? Oh God, what's his name?
I think it's Tony Smokes So Much.
Tony smokes a
yeah.
lot. He collects.
Call him
Like,
Pops.
yeah, he collects really cool rigs, like thousands of dollar rigs, and yeah, he. It's also something about being kind of like, I think. Do people try to intentionally dab you out or get you like really blasted?
No,
Old
not
cool
anymore.
shows. Earlier, like the old shows for sure was like a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a weird thing with like, especially like stoners, where like you go out and they're like, we want to get the guy drunk or we want to get him stoned. You know, 'cause they
Yeah.
want to have the story and like they want to party.
It's almost bad though, bro, because
Absolutely.
getting somebody too drunk and they pass out and do some regretful shit and they wake up in the morning and don't remember any of it.
Yeah.
The weed overdose is like way more life altering because like you give somebody a bad edible like a bad edible night for their first high, bro.
Experience?
They're never going back, bro.
No,
Ever.
of course not.
It's like the first story that most people tell when they come back into a shop. Like when
Yeah.
came past, everyone was like, hey, so like I had to like I want to try edibles, but I'm really scared. And that's when like edibles like Petraments and all these like microdose 5 milligram, 2.5 milligrams like kicked off and the market blew up on
so
that
smart.
end. But then those people have now gotten their tolerance higher or
Yeah.
have learned more about edibles
Yeah.
and now we're all looking for 100 milligram doses or 50 milligram doses. Like those microdose products are kind of gone now.
Yeah.
It's kind of nuts, but like right when the industry started, when legalization and everything started, like those were the hot ticket item.
Yeah. I remember there were people who I talked to when we talk about edibles. They're like, I can't take them. They ruined my life, and they'll tell me a story. And then I was like, well, how much did you take? And they're like, 50 or like 100 milligrams. I was like, yeah, you just took like 5 shots of moonshine for your first time.
Well, they also like don't tell you. So like right when I first got my medical card, same similar story. I went to a dispensary and got a Corova bar, and they're like 250 milligrams, and they said 5 doses on it. So I thought a dose was 50 milligrams, and so that's why I'm the way I am today. Is because I've been eating 50 milligram doses since day one. Like I thought that was normal.
Yeah, the 5150s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bro.
I had those at the
500
shop,
milligrams,
bro.
dude.
Yeah, so people used to come in and buy black bars all day, like 1,000 milligram edibles. That was like a dope, like
Dude, it was a $40 edible back then.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's a lot
40
of
bucks
fucking
for
money.
1,000?
Yeah, it was like, that's a lot of money. Now it's like, it's a steal.
yeah, no,
Yeah, bro.
fuck, we had it made.
We really did have it made back in the day.
Oh yeah, you have no idea.
Yeah. I remember there were so many dispensaries at one point, and also so many illegal ones, but all of the illegal ones would still run like first time pay. Every dispensary would run a first time patient thing.
Oh, yeah.
So I remember there was like a
You could just hop around, get free weed.
Yeah, we would just hop around because we were just broke
It was
comics.
normal. When people got their medical card for the first time, like people would tour. Like, they'd just go like 4 different dispensaries, like buy an eighth and get like, 5 extra grams, so like that.
Yeah. Yeah. There was something I missed about a hot chick just opening a jar of just weed and then picking it out with chopsticks
Nothing
and then
like
putting it in a fake medical container bag. You know what I mean? And then like, here's your prescription.
Makes you feel good about
It
it.
all just hit a little bit different.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. I love that vibe.
There's nothing worse than your favorite shop getting shut down. And you show, like, I remember I woke up, it was after a main room shift. Because at the store, when you would work the main room, you could seat people. And, people would tip you, and then, some people would sell nicer seats for however much money. It really ranged, which I think is what got everybody in trouble at the end. Yeah, I made a bunch of money. I was like, I'm going to go buy a bunch of weed from my favorite spot. And I get there, and they had all boarded up and everything. And like the homeless guy next to it was just told me, it was like, yeah, they raided it yesterday. I was like, God.
Be back in a week.
Yeah, it was never the same after that. I think it's a boutique shop, like it's a clothing shop now.
No, it's one of those things too that even now, like, there's shops that are still popping. Like, LA is crazy compared to like the Bay. Like, there's definitely still like gray area operating spots up in the Bay, but down in LA, like, it's almost like 1 for 1 or more. Like, out of shops, like, even where I live, like in North Hollywood, there's one that like I've seen get raided twice, and they're still in the same spot.
I mean,
Like,
yeah,
it's like it's
never-
nothing. It's literally just making money. So you like shut down your license or whatever, and then just fucking pop a new one up.
Yeah, there's really no.
The money game.
There's real no.
And they're crushing like everyone who like no wants to pay fucking tax.
Yeah.
And so everyone's like super down to just go in there and still have people just serve them up eights and everything like that.
Yeah, I mean the consumer is the one that
Yeah.
is always the victim in all of
course.
this. You know what I mean? So that's
am
the
a
sad
victim.
part is that like and it's the rec market is tough right now because like the consumer is looking at the producer or the cultivator and saying, "What the fuck?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the cultivator saying,
What the fuck also? Yeah.
"We're not really making any money, bro."
And they're like, guess what, guys? It's the government. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's other parties involved in this that are like, "You're pissed, we're pissed."
Yeah, why are you looking at it like it's our fault?
It's a very strange time in the industry right now.
Yeah.
Like very, very
And
weird.
it's so funny to try to still explain this to like family members.
Yeah.
Where they'll just be like, "Oh, you still smoke weed?" And I'm like, yeah. You was like, "Have you not read?" Like, you'll have to explain it and tell them it was like how everyone's getting taxed and how there's so many people getting legitimately fucked by a thing, by just bureaucracy, and it's just kind of like, why?
Bureaucracy likes to fuck people.
Yeah, well, that is bureaucracy.
You don't hear too many.
That's just French
You
for
don't
fucking.
hear too many good bureaucracy stories, right? Yeah. Think about it.
You ever heard about bureaucracy Obama? All right, now I'm high. All right. When I can get JP to roll his eyes, I know it's a good podcast.
And that was our episode.
All right, now that I'm sufficiently stoned, I can gush. But I'm so excited to have you here. I'm a
Thank
huge
you, bro. Thank
fan.
you.
I'm trying not to geek out too hard, but I told JP how excited I was the first time I met you. I was just like, yeah, man, this is the whole reason I kiss white women.
It was when
You
we
know
were
what I mean?
doing that show with Adam, no?
Yeah, Adam show. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
420
Adam's
stream.
great. Yeah, that 420 stream was ridiculous. Yeah,
I'm sorry, I cut you off though.
not at all. Watched The Sandlot every day, every summer. I think when we were, because I had a big family and we were all Mexican. We all played baseball, and it was just great. It was just awesome. It was
It's a
fun.
very cool.
I'm sure you get that story from every Mexican ever for
Just
your
from
whole
people
life.
in general.
Most people, it's like everyone
Just
I
most
meet. But,
people.
No, dude, I feel like there's something about the Sandlot and Mexicans where it is so like ingrained in their culture.
That's what it was, It's a very Southland.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
very Southland, LA Valley, multicultural. And then baseball is here's a cool fact that I didn't even know until like a couple weeks back was that the number one major league players come out of Southern California than anywhere else in the country.
I 100% believe
And
that.
you get that this is a baseball state that people don't really realize is that like up north in the Bay, even in San Diego with the Dodgers, like we produce players, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
And so Sandlot falls right in line with
Yeah.
this culture that is been here for generations, you know.
How many tattoos of yourself have you seen on some dude's
so
body?
Yeah,
I'm just imagining the tag posts.
there was a butt cheek out there somewhere. I remember, like in the MySpace days, I remember
Oh,
seeing
man.
the maybe it wasn't MySpace, maybe it was Facebook, but yeah, somebody shared it, and I was
That's
like, that's
so
not
good.
real, right? Like
That's so good.
like whoever did the art was great because it looked great,
looks
and they're
really
like, no, bro, that's really somebody's ass, like that's really there. I'm all, get the fuck out of here, like
That's
I
how
don't
you
even know
you
how that
fucking
happens,
did it,
right?
dog. Oh, I know how it happened.
It's fucking
I know
hilarious.
exactly how it happened. I got a
seen,
cousin.
there was a chick that was all tatted up, and she sent me a zombie squints that was pretty dope.
Oh, that's
That was a
sick.
cool one.
Yeah, it is. It's very cultural, which I think is very
Yeah.
very fun.
It was like the Goonies, like it's literally where it's
Yeah.
a movie for a generation.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Where like it took a lot of people's lives over.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah, I full on started kissing white women because of that movie. You know, whenever Wendy Peppercorn, hilarious. All right, what was the first question?
My first one is agree or disagree. Hard pretzels are nothing more than a trail mix filler.
Ooh.
I think they're trash personally. Not a hard pretzel fan.
Yeah, well,
like
all right,
pretzels.
what's in the trail mix though?
First of all, it's called Chex Mix usually, or trail mix has nothing to do with pretzels.
Trail
But they
mix is
fucking
not
fill it
Chex
with like
Mix,
70% fucking pretzels. Dog.
I actually do agree with this.
A bag of Gardettos full of pretzels.
Yeah, pretzels do feel like a filler. Pretzels in the bag feel more like they're giving you more pretzels so they can give you less of the cool sweet and savory shit.
Yeah, man. The good shit you want.
Yeah.
Because pretzels are trash.
Yeah.
What about you, dog?
By the way, this is how the podcast is.
I enjoy it.
It's bouts of laughter
Good
and then
times.
ridiculous questions. What was we talked last week? We had a question, which was whether or not bacon is an overrated condiment.
Or if it's if it's just a condiment.
If it's a condiment, or yeah. And
Bacon's a condiment.
I posted about it, and I'd never seen so many people argue in the comments
Oh,
about
dude.
bacon, and the amount of like well thought out points they had for bacon.
Yeah.
Was fucking pretty interesting.
You just add it on to things. It's
No,
not, it's
I
not,
mean,
it's not a
They said you
thing.
can't keep bacon in a box. It's whatever it is. Bacon's whatever it wants to be. And I was like, that's a pretty solid answer. I've seen bacon in milkshake.
I'm not mad at that.
I've seen bacon in breakfast,
And Bloody
and lunch,
Marys, yeah,
and
it's
Bloody
everywhere.
Marys. Like bacon really is everywhere.
Yeah, it's a condiment. You add it to things.
All right, I get it.
No, but it's still pork belly. Anyways, we'll get to this next one.
I never thought of it like that, but it works. I'll
strong
be
feelings.
honest. It's a great point because when you first said that, I said, nah, it's a food. You know what I mean? I was thinking that it's not a condiment. It's like, it's a legitimate food item. But no, you're right. It isn't. It's just something that you add to other dishes.
All right. Well, this is
And
the end of
make
the
them
episode,
better
guys. It's so true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first High Times Cup or like HempCon experience?
Yeah, I remember smokeouts mostly.
Yeah.
It's like more of like what I'll say is what High Times, like what the cup turned into.
So then like
anyway,
a part
you know?
two to that then is like, have you ever like what was like the first one you went to where you saw like something new in the industry where you're like, holy shit, like that's the future.
I think Instagram has been more prevalent in that type of way than any of those of that has been. Since Instagram, I feel like the game's been in light speed. You know what I mean?
Totally. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
The sharing of everything.
I'll give
Just
like
tech even.
I'll give Ivan the credit for that, for opening that up, because people weren't very forthcoming with information early, and everything was like my little secret mix type of recipe. Like
100%.
everybody had their own little sauce and it was proprietary, and then and he
charging
kind of started
crazy.
putting things out there, and then the game kind of opened up, But yeah, I always see cool new shit. I mean, in the last 10 years, so much like agricultural game has come into it that it just kind of blows your mind.
It's because everyone can like grow like legally now, so they don't necessarily have to hide it anymore. So like you
Yeah.
can like really like try shit out publicly, and like all these companies are like doing crazy shit with like nutrients and everything now.
yeah, it's more in line with like agricultural farming. But I think that some of that old school like secret recipe stuff is that was all character, and I like flour with character, and that comes from like it's a plant. I feel like it has a vibe, and it responds to us when we're in the rooms, and likes people differently. Go
What
ahead.
do you think the I guess the most talked about tech right now is in growing, or the newest technique, like that everyone's like excited about? Is it like living soil still, or is it like
I think that like people like a lot of people out in LA grow like rock wool
Yeah.
most of the time. Living soil stuff is really rad, but like it's harder to flush out a lot of the nutrients at the end. So sometimes you'll get like black burning flour or like not as good tasting flour. But living soil when it's done right, like is probably some of the tastier flour out there.
Okay.
I would argue for sure.
Something comes with the dirt for sure, as far as like soil grown. Well, in hash, you'll see that's sun grown wash is different than indoor. You know what I mean?
Greasier.
And that certain
certain things?
certain logistics like of where this is outdoors, the plant always responds to things differently. We run rock wool. We've always been rock wool guys. Most of us in LA, some cocoa a little bit, but mostly cues.
I remember.
But I've had some really good soil flour. It's just not feasible for us, like work wise.
Yeah.
It didn't really fit the city
Yeah.
absolutely. Everyone's got to adapt.
city setup.
Yeah.
100%.
There's so much cool shit though. I'm bugging out on LEDs right now. Like I just switched to a lot of LED rooms, so just dialing those in and like playing with that every day, and then like I'm enjoying that whole process.
Are you seeing like larger yields, or like more trichome production, or like
Definitely
anything
more
like,
trike production, 100%. Just it definitely develops differently. This is weird and it's gonna sound weird, but like I've been in the business for a long time, so I feel off of vibes and shit. Those
like
rooms
vibes.
feel calmer to me than like double-ended or HPS rooms. Obviously, they draw less power. They draw less power from ACs and everything else, and so the rooms seem calmer. And to me, I feel like if I had to spend all day in a room and I had to pick between this room or the next, I would pick an LED room because it's just calm. It feels like
does it feel as
peaceful.
bright as like a lot
It's
of like
bright
the
as
rooms
fuck.
where it's like fucking gnarly and you're like,
no, it's definitely brighter,
Yeah.
but it's a white light, so it's different. It doesn't have the same like panic effect that I feel like big double-ended rooms have.
totally.
Yeah. But it is cool. It's cool just kind of getting the flower. Obviously, it's bringing out more color, but it seems a little bit more difficult to dial in with that. So yeah, we'll see how it's going. I was terrified, bro. Obviously, like you
'Cause
don't
I feel
want to
like
have when you have a fire product and you're always constantly trying to fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? Is like to
dead.
get better. So I was terrified, and in the first room we pulled, I was like, I seen it in the bag, and I was like, all right, fuck it, we can do this. We can make this work. This is gonna, go forward. And so then I was all in. That's kind of how I am. I just have to see,
To prove itself first.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that. That's cool.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
when you talk about vibes, that's not weird at all because, at the end of the day, it is botany, right? Like you're growing a plant, it is a plant,
Yeah,
People
plants.
people talk about talking to plants and like
But that was like I feel like something like even like the oldest like school like classroom experiments you do as kids like in the science fair would be like I played this music to this plant, this music to this
Yeah,
plant, and like they
it's
tried to
also
like
a living
show how it would
organism.
grow differently.
There's legitimate studies on that.
Yeah.
That heavy metal fucking kills houseplants and like that they like certain tones. Look, this is cool because we're talking about this is like vibes and frequencies and vibrations is like why do you think that it loves indoor rooms? They create white noise. It's a hum. It has a just constant ohm to it at all times a day, bro. They rock on that, right? That's why you get super crops.
Strong plants, yeah.
Because we don't respond to that, you know what I mean? But they're responding to all different levels of light and vibration that like, we're all convoluted with our mind and all of our ideas.
I'm so high, I'm like that makes so much
He's like,
fucking
"Oh,
sense.
shit."
Oh my god!
It's the mushrooms. The mushrooms ties the room together. Really ties the room together.
Yeah, that's the second podcast we start. We just do mushrooms.
We've been diving deep recently, Frank and I.
Oh yeah,
A lot more explorations on mushies.
hilarious. Yeah, I got my dad to do mushrooms a little bit. I'm trying
That's
to get him
fire.
to do more.
I want my mom. I mean, just to have her microdose to like for PTSD and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's just like the best. It's trying to explain to a generation that they got lied to and that there is a plant medicine approach that is going to change their fucking life for the better. and just getting them to accept that, like,
Yeah.
no, this isn't bad. It's,
It's
you know,
Yeah. I gotta. Yeah. My mom's like,
it's an uphill battle.
she's like, I'll only eat vegetables. I don't fuck with anything, but I won't do those mushrooms. I was like, you should just do these
try 'em.
mushrooms. Yeah, come on.
They come in little pink cute caps. That'd be great.
She told me she used to do them in high school, and she also told me she used to sell them back in the day. And I was like, that sounds
Yeah,
like
man.
my mom.
She's like, I had to feed the family.
My dad and my mom went to the same school, so there was like stories of each other because my mom came from a big family, and then my dad came from a big family. My dad played sports, and my mom also played sports, but fought a lot.
Oh, no shit. Where are you from?
She was,
Where are they from?
San Jose.
Okay.
My dad's family's from East LA.
Mm-hmm.
But
They went to school together.
he moved to San Jose
I got you.
when they were in high school.
It's pretty good though. Actually,
Maybe,
being able
maybe
to
lower the tempo.
get through that.
Lower the tempo a little bit. You know what I mean? Just fucking, maybe the white's a little too hot. You know what I mean? That one's actually, I was super surprised with this one. That's the Amarillo number 11, grown by Humboldt Kind Farms. That's going to be a banana punch and lemonade. When you smell it, it's straight like grape soda because like it's super grapey from that punch, but then it's super sweet from the banana, and then the lemonade adds almost like a fizziness to it. Almost like if you smell like a Chernobyl, it feels like it's like going up your nose because those terps are so aggressive. It's very similar to that where it feels like it's almost carbonated just smelling it. When you smoke it though, all lemonade. It's kind of, it has a little bit of sweet banana up front, but then it's literally just that lemonade, that lemon terp that coats the top of your mouth that you'll taste for a couple moments after, even after you're breathing in and out. That's the terp that, like, if you smoke it in a car, it sticks to your clothes, even dab wise. Like, people will smell that coming. Nothing. Big fan of that one.
You're a
for sure.
sommelier, my friend.
I just love weed, dude.
I can tell.
Yeah.
You know,
Love
that
tasting it.
is a amazing description.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I have families like in the chefing game, and so I think it's just like tied over a little bit. Like they got similar taste buds, but for weed.
Yeah. You know, weed sommelier is going to be a thing. You know what I mean?
It
It's
is.
more important almost than I feel like in the wine industry because weed is so much more complex. You know?
Absolutely. And like it's like one of those things that like I definitely think that like terpene education, all those things should be out there, but I really like trying to break it down to the simplest, like with the homies, like, yo, you should taste this fucking grape soda. You know what I mean? Like trying to make it like as relatable as possible. And like I have fun doing that.
When
That's
we're-
coming through now.
When we're in the back smoking.
Second hit.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
When we're at the back smoking at the store, and you ask, or anyone asks you a question, seeing you go into your fucking zone.
Dude, I literally
is
feel like
so
it's
fun
like
to
it's
watch.
like Moon Knight, bro. I black out and fucking come up in their personality.
Yeah, because my friends are like, oh, well, he hasn't said anything this whole time, but I asked him a week, and then, but you also explain it so clear and concise.
But it's like also it's like I feel like for me a lot of it is like I want you to love it as much as I do.
Yeah, you
So
also
making
can-
it as simple like as like and kind of putting as much passion behind it, like a lot of people be like, "Fuck, it's sick. Let me try some," and like I really love that.
That's the good stuff.
Yeah, and I love like trying like showing people different strains of weed too, and like explaining the differences and all that kind of shit.
What did you bring?
Hash wise?
Yeah.
That was in the thing. That's some Caliacs from the homies. They gave me that. I think this was a churros with something else. And then it was super fire though. And this is some lemon dog shit from Native Selections from the homie Rob up there in Santa Cruz. And then Jesse washed this Triple OG Ice House.
Try a little
Yeah, check it out. Lemon dog shit. That shit's fire.
lemon dog.
Uh-huh. And then this is some from Candy Paint Flowers. Last time I seen homie. He's the great Grape Depression now though. But this is from an old run. And this is some, I think it's Bolo. Yeah, it says Bolo. It's fire, dude. This one's super gassy too. These have been sitting for a while, but
The lemon
yeah.
terps are so strong. The lemon, like I like lemon because it's so distinct from like even orange because it has like that almost like plasticky finish to it. Mm-hmm. Super noticeable.
Yeah. Yeah, get a dab of that. That shit's fire, bro. It's super gassy. Yeah, he grows an amazing flower. The homie used to previously known as Candy Paint Flowers and now goes by the Grape Depression. So, but yeah, the weed is still fire regardless of the name. It doesn't matter. That he does a great job. and I think Ogre Farms washed that. That came through real nice. Yeah.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, I just got that Proxy, so I've actually been able to like enjoy a little bit. Like, I hadn't been dabbing, but that's a good way for me to try like all the homies hash that they give me, you know. And I had some saved up, so it was nice, you
Have you
know.
tried the secret setting on the Proxy?
No, is there a
Secret
secret
setting?
setting?
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Yeah, I'll show it. Well, do you have a question ready?
No,
In
fucking.
case I black out.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to do this shit.
So yeah, I watched the live chats because I'm such a big fan, and they were talking about the Proxy, and I didn't know this, but they talked about it's this thing. I think it's higher than the higher setting.
Oh, okay, cool. So you could take a rip, huh?
Yeah.
Does the Proxy connect to the app as well, or is it just cool? So that's why it has the more settings. Got it.
Yeah. So yeah, this is what I figured out. So it'd be hilarious if all right,
Just fucking explodes.
right? Twice on the high setting and then 5 times. See if I nail it the first time. Yeah.
Holy
So that's what I see
shit.
you giving to homies, dude. You're an ass. You are an ass.
I think yeah. Yeah,
He gave him the secret setting.
I've done it multiple times to people.
He said they're either gonna be sold or never come back.
I'm like, that thing rips.
I'm like, bro, let me
yeah,
get I'm like, give me the blue,
that's
dog.
the Proxy
Fuck.
commercial, dog. Yeah, it rips. Hit him with the secret, dog. It still tastes great too.
It's really good.
Yeah, I didn't like get murdered like last time. I do feel like
You holding it in.
I did. Yeah, I did cough harder than I want to do in front of everybody. But all right,
Happens. It's
what's,
all good.
what's the next question?
What's the best form of potato?
The best form of potato?
Yeah.
I like little gold Yukons right now, to be honest. Are you talking about cooked?
Yeah. Chips, fried, fucking
What's
scalloped.
scalloped?
Scalp's great.
That's mine. That's my
Scallop,
number one,
dog.
bro. Numero uno.
You know, I've never met a potato I didn't like, to be honest with you.
For sure.
You know,
I think hierarchy of potatoes. I put scallop at the top though.
scalped is great, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, mashed
Get a
potato.
little bit of like a funky cheese in there, bro.
Yeah. That's
game
some
over.
homemade shit.
Yeah.
You know what I
I'm
mean?
about
Like
that.
box of scalped potatoes is pretty fire, bro. That's that you know, that's America.
Yeah, that's a parent that loves you, dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got instant mash out of a box. No.
Those are not real potatoes.
Yeah, my wife. Remember the first time my wife cooked me potatoes. I was like, "This is the mountaintop. This is what it's like."
Yeah,
White bake?
the first time I ever had smashed potatoes, I was like, "What the fuck are these?"
Mashed potatoes.
Yeah, bro.
potatoes are
So they
great.
kind of boil them a little bit, or maybe they bake them, but they cook them a little bit, and then they smash them, but they're still got their skin and everything on them, and then they bake them.
Oh,
And so they get like crispy as fuck on the outside, but they're like mashed on the inside a little bit. It's fucked up, dude. Food and weed, dude. That's it. That's
twice
all I got.
twice baked potatoes. I rave about my wife's mom's twice baked potatoes.
Twice
all
baked
the time.
potatoes are
Oh
great,
my
too.
god.
Yeah, like I said, never met a carb I didn't like.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
True that.
I love me some carbs.
I've been doing keto for like the last month, so carbs.
Sorry,
are,
dog.
I mean, I cheat a little bit, but I have meals that come. You know what I mean? So it makes it easier. So I'll eat a couple of them a day.
Oh,
I think I did 3 weeks solid, and I probably dropped a good amount of weight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then obviously you start mixing other things in. But I've been a little more conscious of it. But yeah, potatoes are great.
Yeah, fuck it. Could not do
But I-
keto, bro. I couldn't
but I
act
lack-
on it,
I've had a
anything,
lack
all
of
of
them.
I
it.
feel like you shit a lot on keto, right?
I think so, but I think that's your like just like eating nothing but protein and fat would probably do it to you.
Yeah.
I remember like Rogan was talking about the carnivore diet, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, my shit was black, and just didn't stop." It's like that's a problem. You probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah, that's probably not good.
You
Yeah.
probably should eat real food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Swear by it, dog.
Yeah. I mean, I know what happens when I eat nothing but pizza rolls. It's not good either.
The new elimination diet.
Yeah.
Chauncey, what was your favorite board game growing up, and do you think it would make a good movie?
I liked Life,
Hilarious.
and of course, it is a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I
Best
mean?
movie I
The
got.
best movie. It's the only movie we got.
All right. So
That was a fun game, no?
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
the little car, you
Yeah,
got the
it was so
kids and the
fun.
family.
He'd
It
be
was
like,
fucking
you
dope.
got kids and shit.
you fucked up.
I'm a game player. I love Monopoly, obviously, but Monopoly is a little aggressive. Life was like, that shit was PG. That's middle school. That was fun. You know what I mean? It was about what, go to college or take your own path, and
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. I liked so what was it? Operation, and then the other one that you had to put all the shapes in like the thing.
Oh.
Like the things for
popped up.
babies?
Yeah, that thing was great. I
Oh,
forget the
yeah,
name of
yeah,
that.
you're talking
So
about now.
know what
those
you're talking about.
two games, I think, are the reason I have so much anxiety.
Yeah, I
Just
get
wait for
it.
the timer to tick.
Yeah, especially with the operation game, man. That shit was, yeah. I got
So a
shaky
little
hands,
shaky.
dog.
Get shaky just thinking of it.
Yeah, I had a big family too. They made fun of you if you,
Yeah, bro, it's a
If
big
you-
deal.
yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
it's our first Coliseum night,
So one of the big one time my cousin, it was right after Sandlot came out, and I fucked up in front of everybody because it was a goober, and out of like it was like 7 kids all staying at grandparents or at my grandparents, and I was a big goober, and I fucked up, and they all like everyone was like kind of teasing me, and my cousin just goes and quotes the movie. He was like, "You're fucking killing me, Smalls," and everyone laughed so fucking hard. They laughed like they've never laughed in their whole
Oh,
lives.
man.
And I remember just looking at him like, "You piece of shit." But the timing was so perfect, and I was just like, yeah, he got me so fucking.
got him.
What was the next one?
Yeah, 2 more.
Okay.
Boom, boom. If you could only smoke 2 strains, what would you think they would be? Like you literally had to pick 2 and that was it.
2 for the rest of your life?
Could be one you want to bring back to, even just like 2 of the favorite strains you've ever smoked that like those are daily drivers for the rest of your life.
I mean, for sure, Girl Scout cookies. It's the one and Trainwreck for me. I don't know. Trainwreck holds a second spot in my heart, not only because I like the way it tastes, but it reminds me of like being in it reminds me of my junior year of high school. Like it just reminds me of like the time period, like a CD or an album does. Yeah.
Absolutely. Trainwreck was one of those things. That was one of the first panic attacks I ever had on weed. Trainwreck and green crack.
Super.
And I didn't understand what they were coming from.
They're really
like why I
strong.
was anxious because I was fine. I was smoking them before and I was good. And then like we were smoking, I'm like, fucking hands are sweating and I'm fucking like, what is going on? And then like it literally took someone at a dispensary like finally like, hey, like maybe it's just the terps. Like we tried some, I was like, what the fuck are those?
Yeah,
And then fucking now.
exactly. Yeah, because there's a loud ass terps, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trainwreck's it's a wild strain.
It's like some Trainwreck, and then like the one strain like that I will smoke that like now I'm thinking about it is probably like my favorite sativa is Good Cherry AK. Smells like piss when you open it up, like disgusting, like ammonia-y. But when you smoke it, like your skin buzzes. Like it's like the most euphoric, and like you're just like, holy shit. And it grows really great outdoor, and like it's strong. Like one of the last batches I had like was like some gnarly tester like back in 2000 like 16 was still testing like pretty high and was like blew me out of the water, and I haven't seen it really since. So no one's growing it.
Yeah. There's certain stuff that I've smelled lately that I'm like, I now understand when you talk about it being like funky or like gross. Not like gross as in like disgusting, but just like you're like, oh, it's just
putrid
so,
smell.
It's so pungent. It's so like I could feel it in my nostrils.
Yeah. Biscotti does that a lot. If it's grown well, like Chili Verde was one of the first strains I ever smelt it and had a physical like, oh fuck, because it literally smelled like candied jalapenos. Like it was the gnarliest fucking. I was like, dude, I'm gonna like choke if I smoke that. It's tear gas. Like what the fuck? And then like one of the better smokes I've had in a long time.
Yeah.
But it was like when I smelled, I was like, what the hell? I've never seen weed like that since. And it grew all weird too. Like it was really fucking ugly plant.
Yeah, I wanted to run it. It's a fucked up little plant. My boys from Humboldt, from the homies Lion Bolt Farms, and then Weed Without Limits. They have a great Chili Verde cut. And even before I met them, I had heard from other cats off the hill that Chili Verde was that shit.
It was weird, bro. And that we smoked it once, like on one of our buddies' episodes way back, because our grower grew like a small home batch of it, and it was like it's one of those things where I haven't had weed that like has made me react physically like that before, and that was it for sure. What about you, Doug? What are 2 strains you think you'd want to?
I was gonna go with OG, obviously, but I think I'm not going to actually. I think I'm gonna not go with OG, and I'm gonna say that man, yeah, if I could have real cookies all the time, that would definitely be in the stable. And then probably like just a real gelato, one that doesn't exist anymore. You know what I mean? Like just like
more of like that cinnamon, even like just like
yeah, I think.
cinnamon.
And the reason I say I'd rather smoke those forever is just because they're just solid, bro. They get the job done, you know? All around, I'd be happy with it and be, happy with I guess that's my flavor.
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, it's like almost anything with Z in it. Like I'm a huge like recently like Rainbow Belts has been the shit for me because it has the gas from the Do-si-do, and then it just has Skittles sweetness and like the gas is so gnarly on there usually. Like Cam has had a really good cut of it that I was like every single hit down from the beginning of the joint to the end was just Skittles gas. It was so nice.
Yeah,
and it's like it's hard
I was
to
gonna say
put
OZ, and that's why,
No.
I could smoke OZ forever. It tastes great, gets the job done. I'm happy with it. It's got a nice euphoric high.
I think Skittles might have been one of the strains that really got me into weed. It was like I went to a hemp con and then Terpogs had it and they were next to the booth, shared a booth with BJ Extracts and he pressed my first gram of rosin I ever fucking bought.
Wow.
And it was literally like it was $100. You got an eighth of Skittles and they pressed right there. It was $80 for the eighth or whatever. Even show pricing was fucking $80 back then. And then he pressed it right there and it was like that started all this shit, I think, really, to be honest. And it was like one of the craziest things. And then like ever since then, like Skittles are like one of my favorite terps, like on everything.
Yeah.
But also I think a lot of it too is like I'm a huge like I smoke for flavor all the time because I'm already stoned as fuck all day.
Exactly.
And so it's like I'd rather just smoke what I enjoy smoking. And like few things do that. Like I've had that reaction to, and it's been mostly Skittles.
I love Z. Good Z.
That's the
Nothing
most
like it.
expensive half gram of hash I ever bought too, bro.
I bet.
I bought a half gram of some Blue Z from Harvest Moon Garden, but it was washed by Matt Rise.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
It was $120 for the half gram.
But that's technique, though, right? You're
Dude,
paying
it
for
was
technique.
it was the best half gram of hash I've ever
It's like
smoked.
the pinnacle of like boutique, bougie smoker shit ever.
It was so good. The jar
That collab, you know what I'm
weeks
saying?
later smelled like blue
Yeah.
Skittles. It was fucked up.
Harvest Moon does an amazing job.
That papaya is
Matt watches good shit.
stupid.
It's so funny to talk to like people who don't know about this, like talking about like your favorite washers or like how cool washing is.
Yeah.
And like you're like you don't understand, man. Weed's gotten to the point where there's a guy who does a thing so good and specific that people will pay more to have him
that's
do
also
it.
what was so cool about with Matt Rise. He was talking about everyone had their secret sauce and their secret formula, and he was like, "Nah, man, let's fucking all do this shit together." And started a forum on Roll It Up. I think it was Roll It Up Mag, and it's like a 150-page forum. But that's where I learned to wash bubble hash because he literally said like this is my steps, and people would chime in and say, "Hey, I tried this," and he would respond and be like, "Oh, cool, like results, try this," and like it was like 150 pages of people all collaborating on how, and that's how I learned how to fucking wash bubble. I washed my first run of bubble like a couple weeks after that, and that was like probably still one of my favorite cannabis experiences. I like learned so much from the plant.
Ooh, this one tastes good.
Some Gush mints.
What's this?
The Gush mints. It's a PCG genetic as well. People are saying yield wise, it's like the new Blue Dream. Like it fills rooms, which is kind of gnarly.
Really?
But it's Kush mints, Durban, and Gushers. The Gushers, Gelato, and TK. So there's a lot of that gas on there. It's mostly Gushers, and then there's literally just that Kush mints adds a creaminess right to the beginning, and then kind of helps with the smoke fill and like the mouth feel. It's a thicker, creamier smoke, I would say, because of that Kush mints. But it really is just all Gushers, funky and delicious and sweet. Also incredibly strong, dude. I smoked that one, and like it's like you'll space out, you'll stare at the wall. It's a sneaker for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. No, that was
It
one of my
tastes
favorites.
amazing.
Yeah, like Gushers is like it reminds me why it's one of my favorite. Like gelato crust. Like yeah.
Yeah, it's right up my alley.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That was like little gas and candy.
That's that
Give it
good
to me.
shit.
Yeah.
That's that real saw. That's
So
what
like
it
for
is.
me, like that's like that, like the Zope, the Gushmans, like those are like some of my favorite terps because they have the sweet and the gas and the funk, and they're usually fucking put you in
Shit,
there.
I'll run that, bro. I like PCG's gear too. They have solid cuts.
Fuck yeah.
For those that don't know, Purple City Genetics got good joints. We were the hub at Green Dragon Farm, and we sold their clones for a long time.
Yeah,
But
fuck
I
yeah.
personally ran like 20 probably plus strains from them because of us having that you know. So.
And they get like cuts like from like the best people in the game
Yeah, they're
doing
solid,
it too.
bro. So
Yeah,
people,
like their Cushman's is the Rabid Hippie cut.
yeah.
So is it like I'm really high right now? Is this is it so when you get like a cut from a person? I assume that it's mostly like you're smoking on it, or they're showing you the bag, and then you're like looking at the flower that it potentially will be, and then be like, that's what makes you decide that you're gonna fuck with the cut, and then you're gonna be like, I'm gonna do this myself.
You get clones, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, he said it fills rooms up, so that was kind of the deciding factor, actually, because
Yeah, that's why there's people are like, yeah, no, it's
It
kind of
sounds
gnarly.
perfect.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it still has that funk
yeah.
to it. So I mean, I would say, yeah, check it out. But everyone's like, yeah, no, it like it'll fill a field, like it grows big.
yeah.
So it's kind of rad.
It's, to answer your question, though, it's always iffy getting genetics from somebody because, especially if they're not from like a clonery or a nursery type point of view, like this process takes months.
Yeah.
And you're putting a lot of your time and money into this process. So if what you think you're getting isn't what you you wanted, it's kind of it's a big deal, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
so it's some like, one, to get blessed with a cut that you know is legit is like the best thing that could ever happen, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody gave you like gear that was just like,
How
you
many?
know,
How
solid.
many? How many like I don't know kind of cuts are there? You know what I mean?
Well, it's
Where
also
just
too,
like,
like-
I have no idea what cut this is, and then
But a lot of times people like even they're cutting it from the mother plant, so like they'd probably tell you like what it is usually. But like a lot of times too, like you're saying, you like gotta make sure you're getting from the right people, because if like their garden is fucked up or they're cutting a ton of clones and that plant's stressed, it could have powdery mildew that shows up later, or it could like plants when they're stressed like basically put out like you said, like vibrations to like pests and shit to come be like, hey, I'm ready to die. And they come and like fuck up the plant. So if the clone or the mother isn't healthy, you could a clone, put it in your garden, and then your whole fucking garden's fucked, because like you don't, it wasn't a healthy clone to begin with. So it's like kind of hard to find like super good, like reliable, consistent genetics.
it was such a so specific and like well thought out answer, and then in the middle of it you were like, it'll fuck that plant up, and I was just like, all right, that's funny.
because at the end of the day, it's just
Yeah, it'll fuck the plant up.
It'll fuck
the
all your
plant
shit
up,
up. That's like the biggest thing, dude. It's like,
There's like multi-million-dollar corporations that are just like, we're trying to get in this weed game. Who can we call? It's like, you should call JP, and then that's the guy comes in and he talks like that in the,
like,
in
hey,
the
your shit's all fucked up.
What? Yeah, it's so stressed. Yeah, it's fucked.
Totally fucked. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
because that was a big thing we saw too, like even as a shop, like when we were sourcing a bunch of clones to even resell, like because these bigger nurseries are cutting so many clones, the plants get stressed. And even not necessarily at the nursery, like they could be doing everything right. The transportation from wherever to where you are could be putting that stress on the plant that then fucks it up. It's like so finicky and so hard.
Running a nursery is the hardest lane in our business. So it's tough to do. It's tough to do legitimately and like to consistently put clean gear out. It's just a tough business, you know. It has a shelf life. People want fresh cuts, so it's like there's like a whole process to that. It's really a tough lane, and it's an important lane, obviously, because people depend on people holding nursery stock and like keeping genetics, because indoor wise, like we can't just keep plants. It's too costly to house stuff. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times things get shifted or moved to the back burner, and those libraries of genetics are we're in a resurgence of old genetics coming back to the forefront of the business now. All the sours and different things and all the old school waves. So hats off to all the cats running a nursery. It's a tough job.
Deep questions, dog. This is such a fun one. This is a fun episode.
I guess the last question then is like, what was the strain that like really made you like, oh yeah, no, I'm all in on weed?
OG.
Yeah, just first
100%.
OG.
First time.
Fuck
I
yeah.
can still remember what my car smelled like just from
Hilarious.
just hotboxing that bitch, and it just like that shit was so attractive.
You've always been a big stoner?
Yeah, I fell in love with her early on in my life, and just kind of, I think around 17, 18-ish, I knew that it was like, I was obsessed,
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, my love affair.
Did we do the third one?
Yeah, the Gushman sucker.
I'm
Yeah.
fucking so.
Yeah.
I didn't even. I'm actually gonna try the one that you talked about earlier. I had loaded this. I haven't even finished.
With the Amarillo?
Yeah.
That one's awesome. I was like not like surprised, like expecting to be so good. I'm a huge grape fan. The grape on that is chef's
Yeah,
kiss.
grape soda,
Yeah, that's
straight
one of
up.
those things like grape pie. Those grapes, like, are things that like I will always also love for sure.
Your
In hash
description of
especially.
everything was fantastic as
Thanks,
well.
man.
What time are we at? Just so. Oh, okay, perfect. All right, sweet. So, that was all the questions.
Yeah,
All right, sweet. Let's
you got too
do.
high at work today. I'm sorry.
Did you get too high at work? today?
Yeah,
I mean,
I get all my questions done.
I was nursing a fucking hangover the whole day.
Chop it up to dabs.
Yeah. Anything you want to plug before we start to get out of here?
You know, if you want to find us, social at Squints, at Foreign Genetics. We got the shop opening, you know, K-Town, Pico Union, Foreign LA. It's our first branded retail location. You know, shouts and good vibes to all the peoples.
Do you know when you guys are like hoping for a soft opening or?
Should be in the next 3 weeks.
Fuck
We've
yeah.
been saying that for like 3 months,
of
but
course.
you know how it goes.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Nah, the shop's done. We're putting product in now. We're staffed. It's
Exciting.
in, it's
Fuck yeah,
in
dude.
motion. It's ready. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
So we're excited. Yeah.
That's fucking
Back
sick.
to the people, you know?
Yeah, fuck yeah. Hey, Frank, what you got to plug, dog?
Yeah, I just remembered I have comedy coming up that I got to plug. I'm going to be in Houston, Texas, 16th through the 18th in September. And then before that, I'm going to be at another place. God damn it. I'm so bad at my job. Man, I don't know what caught me off guard. I think it was the fucking Ryan Fit hit that I took.
Just now? What was that?
It was
Those,
that one-
those lemonade terps are aggressive,
It was that
dog.
22-minute dab that I hit, or dab I took at the 22-minute mark that I was just like, all right, I'm fucking ripped. This one just got rough. No, it was good. It was a fun episode.
What else are you going to plug?
Oh, yeah. That's Frank Castillo on Instagram. More episodes of Peaked. Thank you, Sumo Snacks, for the awesome edible sponsor of the show. I did not get into eating mine. Quick question. Which mascot of a snack brand do you think would win in a fight?
Definitely Captain Crunch. Always.
Well,
Like, I think
Captain Crunch?
Yeah, man. That motherfucker fights dirty for sure.
Yeah, he's got some. He look with the shit.
Tony the Tiger, Doc.
Nah.
He's a tiger.
Fuck him up.
I think
Captain-
Captain's gonna eat Tony up.
Musket to the chest, dude.
What about Count Chocula? That dude's
Count
a vampire.
Chocula. They just brought that back, you know.
Did
I
they?
just bought some for my kids and told them the whole story about how this was a staple as a child. This was like,
Where did he go?
I think they shelved it for a while, and it just was like that whole character line was just gone.
Who did he offend?
He finally lost shelf space after all those years.
There's like, sorry, Count, you're done. This is it. Trying to hang up the cape. All right. Thank you, Third Wheel. Thank you, Sumo Snacks. Thank you, Punch Edibles. Thank you, PUFFCO. Thank you, Farmer and the Felon. Have a good night.
Nah, y'all.